Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Panzer Strategy. We're back here with more Panzer action and yeah, let's see what we can do in the deployment screen first, and then afterwards we'll start with the second mission, Kiev, after our great offensive in the first mission, Operation Barbarossa. We will now set our sights on Kiev with an equally, if not even more difficult mission than we had the last time. So I hope we'll be able to get that gold victory once again, and I hope to provide you the tools again to do it. Let's see here first at HQ experience. I'm just going to leave that for now. I don't actually want to go for tank onslaught at this moment. Let's just go into the prestige point. So once again, I now get 5 command points per turn. But because we got a free unit around here somewhere, I need to go to purchase. We get a free KV tank or Panzer for 753. It's also a heavy armor unit, so that's very nice. Let's purchase that for free here. And I could technically have made one of these Panzers into, or one of these tanks into that and keep the 5 points. But I think we're fine here. So first of all, we have a couple of upgrades that we can do once again. This time for the Messerschmitts, and we can actually upgrade them to a Focke-Wulf 190A. Which does give it more air defense, more ground defense, more soft attack, hard attack, and air attack. So that's exactly what I want. And I'm quite sure that the Focke-Wulf 190A will be very good until, well, pretty much the end of this game, probably. So I'll be upgrading all of these. But not the Spitfire, because for the Spitfire, it's an out-of-tech tree upgrade. It costs 723. I think that's a bit too much. So I'll just leave it at that, you know, just these guys. Besides that, let's go and over... well, I would like to get some over strength, to be honest, but let's take a look here first. So we do have quite a few of these free equipment, which I actually do want to slam onto my units. First of all, I guess both of the recon can get at least a Vickers, giving it more soft and hard attack. Besides that, I have these covered. You know, if we take a look at these guys, I want to make sure that those with little fuel or less fuel, like for example 20 fuel, 25 is already pretty risky, but I want those with 20 fuel to be getting at the very least external tank, so they'll be doing a bit better on that. And which ones had 20 fuel too? For example, these guys. I think they really need that. The ammunition, they're okay, but like for example 15, that's just way too little. So I need to give them an external tank just to keep them moving, because if they run out of fuel, we'll be in big trouble here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to give these guys extra ammunition. They currently have 3. But if I do that on both of these and afterwards level them up, these guys have extremely good abilities. This costs 25, but I think it's absolutely worth it. 21 for these guys. So getting them 2 levels higher gives them at least multiple support. So continued support until the ammunition is spent. And then they also can get +1 radius for air targets. I really want to get air combat support as well, but I think that's really a third one that I would get. My air units are already more powerful than the Soviet ones, so I don't really want to spend it on that, but +1 radius and multiple support is really, really good. So they will have a range of 5 actually. And yeah, they'll be able to move quite nicely here with the extra fuel and the extra ammunition. Going for multiple support, I think they will be much better at their job. Excellent. Okay, well, with that done, let's go back to the equipment. Yeah, the anti-tank gun has 15 fuel, so they already had the MG34, but I'm gonna give them an external tank as well. So they got that going for them. Most of these guys just have the additional ammunition. As for these guys, they already have incendiary, so the only real thing they can get now is intelligence, which is not the greatest. As for these, this is actually interesting because I would give them the ability. Where is it? I could give them technically the ability to do sappers, and that would technically remove some of the mines, which is, you know, it's not a bad ability. And I think I'm gonna give at least one pioneers that, so I'm gonna sell the flamethrower and give them the sappers ability. There's a very specific reason why I want to do that during this mission. So I'll be watching out for this guy, this one pioneer which has sappers. I think leveling up for these guys is not that interesting still. So I'll leave it at that. Now, I want to again over upgrade at the very least the units that can. Let's upgrade. I think that's a bit more important than taking care of the rest of the equipment. Let's go to info here. So let's do that. There's not too much over upgrading that I get to do now. Definitely want to get it on the anti-aircraft gun so they deal more damage. And then, of course, on the bombers again. Quite a few of them have leveled up or taken a little bit of damage. So I think it's worthwhile to do this. Yeah, this will take a big chunk out of my points. That's okay. I think this is really worth it. And really helps me in each mission. 79 left. Well, I'm not over or upgrading any of these guys more. But I do have some free equipment. This one is pretty much the same as the Vickers. It's, I guess, just a Soviet caliber one instead of the Vickers. So we have 9 of these free ones. You know, these guys can definitely get it. I don't really need to have any of those other things. They do have reasonable amount of fuel, stuff like that. It's okay. It's nothing fancy. I will get one for all of my tanks. You know, why not, right? Sure. You will get one for free. You will get the Russian one. It's always nice. And then both of the recons can get 2. There we are. These guys, yeah, they're also fully booked. And, you know, if I need some extra equipment or whatever, I will use it. I can still level up some of my units. And I think it's worth checking out which units could benefit from that the most. I like getting aggressive maneuver on my tanks in order to get them some more movement points. So I could go for that on quite a few of these if it allows me. And it seems like it does. Many of these already have a decent amount of experience. And yeah, I don't mind being able to move my tanks just a little bit more. These guys are, of course, fresh and new. So will cost the most. I'm going for aggressive maneuver on all of them, actually, because I think that this is a really good ability that really benefits us during these missions where we need to be fast and we need to be quick, real blitzkrieg, as these missions need to. All right. So we're very low on HQ experience at the moment. Not too low. You know, I'm pretty much going for either skill attack or fire discipline on these guys. How much does it cost to upgrade them? Sure. Let's do both. And these guys also have very little fuel. So what I'm gonna do, at least for the mobile ones, they could get external tanks, and I would really like that. I'm gonna give them both extra slot of equipment and then slam that external tank on there. Oh, I removed the incendiaries. There we are. I think we're good to go here. Very little prestige points, very little HQ experience. We'll save the rest for the next mission. So we're ready for Kiev. Let's see what everybody has to say about the upcoming offensive here.
In general, we can already assume the mission to destroy the main forces of the Russian land army along the Dnieper is accomplished. Therefore, there is no exaggeration in saying the campaign against Russia was won within 14 days. Of course, it is not over yet. The huge length of the territory and the stubborn resistance of the enemy will clamp down on us for many more weeks.
Yeah, many more weeks will turn into years if you're not careful.
The encounter with the Russian medium and heavy tanks was an unpleasant surprise for Panzerwaffe. Before the beginning of the war, we were not aware that the Red Army had these vehicles.
Well, you do now. And we got quite a few of them ourselves now as well, so that's not that bad actually. Though we don't have the T-34s just yet. We did not encounter such large numbers of enemy troops on the Western Front as we have in Russia. Russians are inferior to us training-wise, but obviously they have much more human and material resources.
In general, we can already...
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's go for the next mission then. Kiev, and probably quite a bit more territory as well. Let's just see what the Führer has to say about the upcoming offensive here. It's called Kiev Assault.
I will read to you a part of the directive that I developed for the present moment. Army Group South, in close cooperation with the troops of the southern flank of the Army Group Center, must immediately launch an offensive against Kiev. Its goal is to seize Ukraine and to surround a large group of Soviet troops. Additionally, Army Group Center should suspend the attack on Moscow and advance all its mobile units to the south, with the aim of encircling and destroying the Soviet units on the eastern coast of the Dnieper.
But Führer, it's a waste of time. Moscow.
After the numerous encircled enemy units are destroyed, the task of the Army Group Center is an offensive against Moscow.
My Führer, I believe that our units are not able to withstand two offensives in a row, first on Kiev and after that on Moscow. Such dramatic changes to the original plan can affect the course of the entire campaign.
You're right, General. It will affect the campaign, and it will win it for me. War requires flexibility. Great generals of ancient times made their decisions in a split second, and they were right. While I have to fight with my own generals first, and then with the enemy. Take the time to read the full text of this document and complete the command without question.
Yeah, let's make all of the decisions in a split second. We don't need to think about this. We'll win regardless.
General Staff to the commander of the operation. Our troops have taken the lines necessary to continue the offensive. Now you are facing the task of seizing Kiev by taking over the western and eastern parts of the city. Also continue with the offensive to the east. You must cross the Dnieper River and capture these cities: Cherkasy, Kremenchuk, Poltava, Dnepropetrovsk, Kharkiv, Sumy, Belgorod. According to our intelligence, 5 Soviet army groups are concentrated in the area of Kiev. In addition, ships of the Pinsk flotilla operate throughout the Dnieper. Roads to Kiev from the west are fortified with pillboxes and minefields. This area is covered with forest and swamps, which makes it difficult for any offensive actions, in particular with tank units. Due to these facts, the General Staff recommends refraining from an active offensive on Kiev from the western direction. Wait for the arrival of the 2nd Panzer Group sent to help you. After its entry to the rear of the Kiev grouping of the enemy, the task of occupying the city will be simpler. Generalstabschef der Heeres, Generaloberst Franz Halder.
Yeah, this will not be an easy mission. If all of these objectives is pretty crazy. Dnepropetrovsk, Kremenchuk, and Cherkasy. I mean, Kremenchuk and Cherkasy I can understand, but then Dnepropetrovsk, pretty much you're going to go all the way down here to Izium. We have to capture Kharkov, all the way to Belgorod up here. is a crazy list of objectives that you need to capture during this mission. And maximum movement is the key here. I want to be using the Blitzkrieg ability almost every single turn in order to drive forward and seize our objectives as quickly as possible. Now, for my strategy. Unfortunately, I cannot place all of my troops down here, so I'm going to have to make a choice. A couple of forces will be deployed down here, and which will be moving first through Uman, and afterwards upon Kirovograd and Cherkasy. There will be a second group that unfortunately has to deploy up here. They have to move much further, and they'll be going downwards, capturing Belayat Serkov, and then moving through this airfield also towards Cherkasy. Once our forces pretty much reach the Cherkasy-Kirovograd line, they will be split up into two parts. One group will cross the Dnieper and split up even further, sending some forces to Kiev, and the rest of the forces will move on towards Lubny and Kremenchuk, afterwards moving further up north towards Sumy and Belgorod. But because we have to spread out our forces so much that pretty much almost every single of these forces will be ragtag individual units trying to get as quickly as possible to the northeastern part of the map while capturing as much as possible. The second group will, instead of going towards Cherkasy, they will move further towards Kremenchuk and Dnepropetrovsk, probably crossing the Dnieper at Dnepropetrovsk and then moving up further north towards Lozovaya, Izium, and then Kharkov. If lucky, we can make it all the way to Belgorod in time. We have 14 turns for that in total. One of the problems during this mission is that this side of Kremenchuk is actually riddled with mines. So you can't actually cross from this side to move up north. Also, this airfield is not in any supply. This big depot actually won't reach this airfield. So you need this big depot in order to get supplies to this airfield, which you can't if there are mines. So you need to clear those mines, and that's exactly why I have one of these pioneers with mine removal capabilities. But yeah, my forces along this line, they will split up into two forces. One will go towards Dnepropetrovsk, the other one will cross the river at Cherkasy, then split further up. The forces that are going towards Dnepropetrovsk will also split up. Some of them will move towards this side, other ones will move towards Poltava and Kharkov and further. But it's pretty much just a widespread movement of all my units that will at that point cross the Dnieper and just go wherever they need to go. A big portion of my tactics in this area is going to be the destruction of enemy forces by using the Luftwaffe, which is still extremely potent at this point if you can take out the anti-aircraft guns, which will be dealing minimal damage to my air forces, of course. While we are still on this side, we definitely need to worry about the Red Air Force. Despite in Barbarossa, where there was a minimal enemy force, the enemy will actually come at you with quite a few air units during the first 6 or 7 turns of the map. Pretty much they keep spamming new Red Air Forces. This time they have bombers as well as fighters. I believe it's the Ilyushin 2 something. I would have to see that on the map itself. But they will be coming at you too, pretty much from wherever that's convenient to them. Yeah, so they'll be harassing you along the way. That's going to be tough. And that's also why you need your anti-aircraft guns to be up to snuff and close to your unit. So I want to be placing those at the very least one in each group so they can support your tanks. The enemy will also be throwing some tank counterattacks at you at the beginning of the game, and they will have a pretty large tank force over in near Uman already as well. So let's get deploying. First of all, I definitely want to have the command unit in here. And I also want to have most of my slower tanks up at the front. Slower tanks include, for example, the Panzer 748. Well, actually, these guys have 6 movement. That's not even that bad. This one, for example, has 5, so they will definitely be deployed down here. But yeah, you also have 5. Wow, okay. Let's pick these up then. Let's get you out here. You here as well. Just checking their movement. Most of the German Panzers have 6. And then +1, of course. I definitely need 1 recon down here as well. They have even more movement. As I said, I will be deploying an anti-aircraft gun, which has 5 movement. So I actually want to put these all the way at the front. Because they need that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I can actually place an artillery out here that will immediately attack what's there. I also want to have at least my 2 mobile artilleries out here as well. As you can see, I won't have enough. I want to have 1 pioneers here. Doesn't really matter which one that is. I will have these guys. They're not really good at all, actually. I really dislike this unit. I like this Stück a lot more, to be fair. But this one was free. Let's go for another artillery. And I have 3 left. Let's put this artillery here. And then 2 more tanks. Yeah, let's at the very least get another one with heavy armor. Alright, there we go. That means that the other ground units have to deploy up there. I'm not too happy about that, to be honest. But I don't really have a choice. Let's get these guys up front, because I will want to use those the most of all. They have 1 artillery, that's okay. Yeah, and then the infantry will lag behind. Okay, I definitely want to have at least 2 fighters up here in the north to protect these guys. I don't need any bombers there, because the bombers from down here will suit just fine. Definitely getting the fighters in the rear. I want to deploy all of my bombers as I can see fit here, at least. Okay, that leaves me with 1 bomber that I need to deploy up in the north. Yeah, let's forget about this one here. I definitely need my bombers down here, so I can move the fighters down. That's not going to be a hassle. Alright, let's end that deployment. And let's first of all immediately go for Blitzkrieg to make sure that my tank units can move a lot further. Or, well, actually any mobile units, that is. So, first of all, let's move you a bit closer to this region. And spot, like I said, the huge tank force that they have. Now that we know that it's there, I want to start using the aviation recon to see if they have anti-aircraft guns here, which they surely do. They immediately destroyed that. That's fine, because now I know this is the only anti-aircraft gun that they have around that area. Sure, let's just go for incendiaries and bomb it. I'm a bit surprised it's not destroyed yet. But what I'll do is I will get the one that can attack twice, also use incendiaries, and I will attack it again. It's only at 3 now. Well, either way, I'll move here and attack the artillery too. So that's down. Not too shabby. Next up, let's move you ahead 2 hexes, use incendiaries. I'm actually gonna move down here. That's an infantry. Should be able to finish it off in 1 hit. Or not. Yeah, I can move in here. Make him surrender. Get some intelligence. Infantry, AT gun. Okay, not too shabby. These guys could move all the way. I'm just gonna take a peek later though. First of all, let's see where you can get. I also need to reveal this. Let's get you out here. It's a recon. Okay. Not the end of the world. Because the recon is fairly weak. The question is, do I need to take it down? And I guess I do. Sure. That's already some relatively decent damage, and now I can just move the artillery and finish that off. I want to save the air units for last. And also the best ones for those guys. I still have 2 fighters remaining, or 2 bombers remaining after that. Question is, how are my tanks gonna fare against a recon? Well, I can get the KV in here just fine. 6 movement. This is a bit further, but they're in supply here, which is nice. Really? That's a bit sad if you ask me. Taking that damage there was totally unnecessary. Really no reason to attack these guys on the first turn with all the enemy fighters potentially incoming. You do not have multiple support. That sucks. How far can you reach? Far enough. Okay, so I can definitely get a second bomber out there. And I will. There we go. Next up, just moving these. And I feel fairly safe taking at least this, because I know that these are weak and I have the artillery here. It's not too bad. And my units will still be in supply around here. That's also very nice. And again, I will actually go and not use the long movement, because they might actually be able to snag an enemy air unit out of the region here. Let's actually move you down. Yeah, it's not the best movement I've ever seen for those guys, but I think we did reasonably well for a first turn, at least with those. Then it's also pretty much about remaining in supply here, which I think is very important. And I don't even necessarily need to take Belyaev Zerkov. I will move there on the next turn, but it's definitely not a must for me. Okay, this covers all of the units. And I can send in another one here. I think that will probably help me a bit. And these guys have a range of 5, so that would also help. A secondary unit can still move. Not too shabby. Even deal some damage. Not the most damage I've ever seen, but oh well. Gonna leave the recon here, but because I know the enemy will not actually launch an offensive towards this location, I'm actually fine first just moving these guys slowly and then just faster. Let's see. Yeah, I do want to keep a small force up there, but still. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Let's ship it back to the enemy. Let's see what they're up to. They're targeted by my anti-aircraft. Nice. It's a bomber already. And this one, my other anti-aircraft gun. Third fighter. And an armored train. Did 2 damage to a unit. Unclear what that is. I will be taking quite a bit of damage, I think. Oh, wow. Really? That really sucks. Wow. Well, I done messed up there. I really messed up. Down here, what got attacked? My tank, huh? Yeah, they probably could see it because all those planes. Just this. It supposedly has no attack whatsoever. How did it even deal damage? Is it able to select like a gun or something? I'm a bit unaware. These things are really strange. In the sense they don't. Yeah, they look very weird. Well, we did take some damage. It happens, especially this is just messed up. I really made a mistake there. All right, it happens. Luckily, it's an auxiliary, but still, you know, it's not nice to take damage like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So first of all, let's blitzkrieg it out of here again. And once again, I want to try and move as much as possible. Which does involve me. Okay, they have a recon. That's not a big deal. Finishing off them. Then the KVs can move all the way up here, and because they have heavy armor, attack it really without any trouble. And the thing that I want to do is move this artillery here. The question is, where am I going to move it? Because they'll be out of supplies here. I need to grab the supply depot, or the medium depot. Then I can see at that point where I can grab the supplies. Alright, let's use one of these to finish that off. And I'm sure they can move as much as possible here. Let's use the incendiaries to destroy this. It hampers the movement of too much of my tanks, and I am fairly certain... Yeah, you have scouting, so you can just take this. Keep going. Alright, so let's try to deal with the Air Force here. First of all, you will attack. And you will also attack. I'd rather attack without moving first, so that I can move afterwards. This saves me the use of a fighter. We do have recon around here. Well, first off, finish them off. I actually need to have a fighter all the way back. Yeah, it's in addition too, like I said before. So I should be able... I really wanted to destroy it here. Yeah, let's do it from here. Good, okay. So at the very least now, let's move towards the armored train. And let's release some help on it. Just destroy that in one go. I want nothing to do with that. Okay, so now the recon can move further ahead. Still a bit of a reveal. Again, I need to know what's around this area. An artillery and an infantry. Well, because my bombers are already pretty much ready to go after Cherkasy, I want to do another aviation recon here, because I also want to get rid of that armored train already. So I'm gonna try and get a bit of a reveal, see if... or what kind of anti-aircraft they have around here. None. They have none. Okay. I do have ships with anti-aircraft guns though. So many targets, so little time. So if the anti-aircraft guns have a range of 2, so if I stay at least 2 hexes away from that, they cannot bomb me on this turn. That's probably the best. for now. What I do need though is fighters to protect myself, which will be challenging. Not so much out here, but if I want to hit that artillery, it will. Although I could move these guys all the way around and then attack. That's already a pretty nice movement. Let's just make sure that I play my cards close here. Yeah, I think I can gamble this. Well, I need to anyway if I want to be fast enough. You already bombed for this turn, so they're actually out of commission. I need to bomb the KV most of all. Okay. So, as I said, well, moving out here and then attacking that is just extremely dangerous. But I don't have the fighter planes to cover all of these guys. And I just messed up as well, so I need to attack it and get at least 2 hexes away from that. Yeah, because I already said that I need to be careful here. Wow. I think I can actually make it in here by capturing the airfield and landing it there before it runs out of fuel. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think I'll hit it off, and I hope these guys won't be visible whatever the enemy has. That's my only way to deal with it here. It also means that I can't bomb the KV anymore, but I'm confined to this thing here. I'm a bit afraid now that they will bomb this Junkers 88, but yeah, there's little I can do about that now. The artillery will then have to wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I can't hit from that angle. Yeah, I still don't like the idea of attacking like that. Yeah, I'll get moved forward as much as possible without delay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm good to go here. Even if they move forward, they're a 5 strength tank now. It's much less intimidating than it was before. Moving 1, 2, 3, 4. They could move and then attack that if they see it. Which is also another question. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Having these guys up front is also a lot better against the KV because they can soak up a lot of damage. And you have... Right, let's just deploy you there for now. Oh, wow. They're going crazy, but it's out of ammo now. Luckily, they didn't have anything else, so that went fairly well. Either way, for now though, I want to thank you all for watching. Do hope you enjoyed this first part of the Battle of Kiev. You know, I think I'm pretty much set on doing like one or probably like 2 turns during the first episode, because we have a lot of preparations, things like that. Just showing off a little bit of the start, and after that, you know, we can divide this one into 2 more parts, playing 5 turns each. I think that would work out pretty well. So that's probably the way I'm gonna do it. Either way, this one will be cut up into 3 parts too. And like I said, I want to thank you all for watching this one. Do hope you enjoyed it. And I'm pretty sure we can take Cherkasy and Kirovograd and /Kirovograd on this turn already. These guys can move pretty far, pretty much out till here for them as well. So we're just a bit short, but you can already see how us getting on end of turn 10 close to Kirovograd, then it's turn 9 here. 8 turns left by the time that we reach the entry to the Dnepropetrovsk. So yeah, we're on a fast, or a pretty tough clock here. And it just means that we have to trash through the place. But it's working out okay so far, so I'm happy. And hope you will be as well. Let's go for that golden victory here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode.